Hey guys, welcome back to the Carpool Lane podcast, the episode The Breakups That Make Us. This is part 3 of 3, the last episode. This one's about breaking up with friends, and unfortunately it does happen, and these are our perspectives on it. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so like we said before, breakups not only happen in relationships and family, but also friends as well. That friends that either we've stopped talking to, or we've completely we told them hey, we're done, we're done there. We're just it just happens. Most of the time, most of my old friends were just we just felt different lives, whatever. Um, did you want to start this one off? No, you had one.
I could.
Okay.
I'll switch it up though.
Okay.
A little bit.
A little twist
To it because the more I started hearing about your situation and your friend, I feel like I was the person that was cut off. So the more you talked about it, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, damn. I think I'm now, going back to it. I think I was the person that was cut off because maybe they thought I was the one that's toxic, but I never saw it about it until you started sharing more of your situation. But it was with a long-term relationship that we had as me and a friend. But I don't know. I feel like our situation, I feel like it fizzled off, but it became really bitter at the end because there was a lot of passive-aggressive things that were being shared online. So I started picking up at it and I'm like, oh, maybe this is about me. But it just, the kind of behavior that she was showing, she was sharing things online that I'm like, is this really about me? I'm like, for me, I'm like, shit, if the shoe fits, well, I mean, it seems to fit on my hand, basically on that end. I'm like, but anyway, besides that, I feel like her situation, I feel like where it kind of started off was based off a breakup. So it kind of started going really was it downhill? Downhill after that? Uphill because it's harder. Man,
uphill. Uphill goes to the high.
Yeah. So I'm like, and I'm trying to look at it now more through her point of view. I'm like, well, I know that I wasn't the more I know that I probably wasn't there for her as much during the breakup, but she wasn't open to me about a lot of low points in her life that I feel like I just maybe I should have reached out more. I feel like I should have reached out more in general, but I only did it as much as texting. I think I only saw her once or so during her breakup. But again, I feel like I should have reached out more. And now that I hear more about your situation, I'm like, man, I really fucked up. Okay. But again, the thing is, I kept beating myself up about that for so long. I'm like,
did you do the right thing?
Well, if she's not open with you,
I know. I'm like, how can I don't want to keep pressing the situation. If she doesn't want to share about it,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep. If she doesn't want to talk about it, I'm like, I really don't. I'd rather just be there as a friend. The way that she was with me, big time when my dad had passed. So I felt like I had such a debt, because of that situation, because she was part of, the death of my father. She was such a big part of it, to help me, even to get on the plane and stuff like that. But I felt like I had such a debt for her, because of that. So.
Any friends that?
No. Let her finish her.
You're still gone.
Because I also want to.
I'm sorry.
I also want to say something as an outsider.
Oh, okay. Go.
Yeah, but I feel like our friendship ended just. We never had a breakup. Yeah. It stopped.
I feel you.
So we never had that conversation to end things right.
Yeah.
So that really affected me, but I mean, I think about it every now and then, but I've given myself grace.
Yeah. Some things are just not meant to be, and the closure is just that it wasn't meant to be. Because not the same situation, but I can relate to you, for sure.
Yeah. But to this day, I'm like, I don't looking back, there were just very toxic traits about her in general that I don't think I would ever welcome that kind of like behavior in my life ever again. But like we were young though, like we were young and like shit, our brains were still developing at that point, basically, you know. But I mean, I would never like. I don't think I would ever welcome like that friendship in general back. I just had found out from someone else though that this person never changed, basically. So,
yeah.
Like,
so she did you a favor.
She kind of did. Definitely. So. So, but that relationship had taught me so much about myself though. Like, it made me grow up in general. I'm like, okay, now I know how to, like, I didn't know, like, during that time, like, I didn't know how to comfort her because I didn't know how to comfort, you know, even myself. That was like loss. Like, I didn't know how to comfort myself during, you know, even the loss of my dad. So I'm like, shit, the best that I can do is just, you know, really like text you and see how you're doing. But I can't go back and take that. Go back. So.
Hopefully she hears this.
Maybe down the road.
Go make your child a bottle because he's eating that Play-Doh.
Yeah, he wants the bottle. You don't want a bottle.
You know what? Being an outsider in that, I definitely think like I remember asking you at some point like, are you sure you want to do this? Because yes, I also thought during the whole of my dad's death, she was there. She went to the airport and was there and cried with her. You know, I remember her saying that, and I'm like, oh, dude, like, are you sure? Because, you know, she really helped you. And then she said something, and I'm like, okay, there's more to this than what she's telling us, so I can't pressure her. And then another thing was, she was caught in the middle. Like, she had to be respectful to not only her, but to him. So I can understand why maybe she wasn't saying anything, because maybe she thought whatever I say to her might get back to him. And while she's thinking, I think I'm just going to have to stay out of this because I might say something that disrespects one or the other. So yeah, and I mean, I can see where she's coming from. Like, I'm your friend. We've been friends for so long. You should have been a part of this. You should have been on my side. But then I'm like, bro, this other person, you know, is also important. So I can totally see you like trying to just be Switzerland. Switzerland is the one. Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland.
And I, if we were to ever have had that like closure, which I wish we did, but you know, no, to keep me distracted. I forgive.
It's a good source of sodium.
I feel like if she were to like say like, yes, I'm like very mad at that situation, like it's like I would, you know, confront it and be like, you know, yes, you have every right to be pissed.
Where did you land?
Parkour over here, don't stop.
What am I gonna say? Okay, yeah, I feel like she has every right to feel the way that she did. If she, maybe I'm making this whole scenario in my head.
No.
But
because you knew how her thought process was at that point. You guys were friends for so
Your
long.
intuition is right, like especially if you've known someone for that long. Like
Yeah.
you know. It's kind of just like protecting yourself too. It's like you're trying not to think that what you did like affected it the way it did, but you know that person.
Yeah, maybe, and like Frankie said, maybe she did me a fucking favor, you know? So.
Oh yeah, especially because I feel like once you hit 30, there's certain friends that, like, even if you just lost touch, you start getting back in contact with us, and then you have a few conversations, and you're like, oh my god, you're exactly where I left you years ago. Goodbye.
And you know what? I feel like that really started off during my college journey.
Yeah.
I feel like there was I started, you know, figuring out the person that I wanted to be as an adult and stuff like that. That's when I noticed that. I'm like, oh shit, like this is the person to like, I don't know, I feel like she never grew out of a certain phase in her life, so I'm like, you can't really
I mean, definitely. I mean, as another third party was like putting anything online and being passive aggressive about it.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Never.
Oh,
a good line.
after that, I deleted her.
Yeah.
I deleted her.
You know.
I'm
was
like,
one
maybe
of
she
the-
got the point. We should do
Yeah,
I'm like,
it was one of those things where it's like, I wish you could have had the same thing where I had a situation with my family member where it's like, I had that talk with them. It was straight up just between me and them. And
Why was it so fucking hard for her to speak to one person?
Yeah, it should have been
so
that.
fucking easy to speak
easy
to the whole
to put
world.
passive aggressive. Yeah.
That's where it gets tricky.
Yeah. That you just make because it involves everybody. Then. It's
You made
out
things
there
worse.
now.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
people,
yeah, it's-
and people know who you're
It's
talking about.
toxic as fuck. Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of
Yeah.
hesitant whether I want Alex to just cut my whole story earlier today. Because I mean, Mexicans are like that.
Yeah, but is it known your situation?
Kinda. Anyways, this isn't about me. This
But
is
you
about
didn't say anything bad though.
You didn't
spoke
say
your truth.
I know.
You didn't say anything like angry to
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just said
Kinda
where you're
wishing
at. That's
Yeah.
it.
where you're
And if
at.
people have a problem with that, that's their own issues. They gotta
Yeah.
work out. You know.
But basically, yeah, no. For ending, I feel like again, it just.
Yeah.
I've been able to. I think about it every now and then, but I'm able to forgive myself. I've grown so much to know that I need better in my life as a friend, as a woman, weird, but like as an adult, as a mom. Like this is not the energy I need in my life. So, is this yours? Call it quits.
Was it? Oh,
She
babe.
said, Lynn.
Swish. Which way you want to go?
Whatever.
Yeah, I've had a couple breakups. The first one was when I was younger. I think it was something.
We talking high school? Or?
No, this was like college years.
College. Okay.
There was some kind of like something that happened between my friend and I, and she felt some type of way about it, and it just kind of kept escalating. And then I would see, like, she would say something sometimes that would just kind of annoy me, or would be kind of disrespectful. And I started seeing her treating me like she did, like her sisters and stuff. And I'm like, yo, like, you just call me stupid or something like that. And I was kind of like, what's that about? And then eventually, she just kept like, she kept saying it, and she kept pushing it and pushing it. Like, and I'm not the type of person to argue. I don't like to like, let's talk about it. What's going on? Can we speak face to face? Because I don't like to text either. I don't know how you're trying to come across. Are you trying to be civil, or are you really trying to come at me some type of way? So I didn't want to do it like this because I couldn't think. For me, if there's an argument, it's because it's over or something like that. And so I didn't want that to happen. But eventually we just stopped talking. And I thought that was it. And so we would, my other friends and I would go out, and I would find myself drinking a lot. And this is someone who was my best friend, one of my really good best friends. And I would find myself out drinking, and then I would say something about her, or I would mention her. And so I started to realize, oh yeah, it's because it still hurts. And I think one time I even kind of started crying, and even though I'm fucked up, I can still think.
Yeah.
Or I think maybe we all think that.
No, we do.
Right?
We
yeah,
do.
and so I'm like, bitch, you are drunk. But I'm hearing myself, and I'm like, no, yeah, I really do feel like this. And I remember thinking, fuck, it's like and I remember thinking at that point, it's like I just fucking had a breakup with a guy or something. Because, like, I haven't even cried over a guy like this, but I'm crying over this breakup with my friend, such a close friend. And I remember that hurt. It hurt a lot, and it wasn't until, damn, that must have been like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But she came around. She made the first move, and she came around. And since then, we haven't had an argument or a fight or anything like that. But her coming, like, saying the first
Extending the olive
right
Branch.
I was like, oh man, I'm glad that she did it. And you know what, I'm glad that she was the bigger person, because I don't know if I would have said something, not because I was mad, but you know, yeah, no, not even hurt, but it was more like, maybe she doesn't want to be my friend anymore, maybe I shouldn't reach out. I was more afraid of, like, is she gonna take me back, or is she gonna like say fuck you? And I was afraid of her saying that to me, because I couldn't do that twice. But yeah, we're together again. I never thought that would happen, but I love her, and so I'm really happy about that. The second one, that was like a clean cut. I mean, like a clean break. It was like I could see things escalating. Like, she is kind of passive aggressive. She was very passive aggressive. She was also like, I don't know. I felt like she, and someone else told me this about her. Like she's always the victim. She has to be the victim. She can never be the one that's targeting. So somehow she would turn it into her being a victim. And so we were, I can't even share that much, but we were doing something and she decided, no.
I'm just kidding.
We were like, and the thing is, my friend, the first one that I was speaking about, was there. It was like the three of us were doing something and she decided to excuse herself, but it wasn't like, hey, I'm mad or something like that. She just decided like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and trade and so is going to come over. And then I turn around and she's over there doing nothing. And when I look over at her, I'm like, what's going on here? Why doesn't she want to come over and be with us? And so I told the person that she had traded with, I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Scan my little thing. I mean, I think you guys know, like, I'm like, scan my little thing and say that we finished our session or whatever, and let's call it quits. You know, I was like, let's just scan it. And he was like, come on, dude, don't be sassy like that. I was like, what the fuck? No one's being sassy. And we don't talk like that to each other. I was like, this isn't going to work out. I don't feel comfortable with you taking over this session. So I'm like, that's okay. Just scan it. We'll be on our way. So we left. And after that, we never spoke again. And this is someone who also, we were really close to each other. We would go out all the time. So now, like, after that, I'm like, no, I'm not going to say anything. I know all her family, so I don't want to be disrespectful. It sucks that we no longer talk to each other because we laugh at the same things. We love the same music. But I'm like, man, if you can't share with me what's going on, if I did something wrong, come on, dude, like we can speak to each other. But I just said, that's it. Let's just, I'm not going to talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. I don't think I'm doing much in your life, and I don't think you're doing much in my life, so we're grown-ups. And so,
At that point, you just
yeah, we
cut
went our
it off.
separate ways, and that sucked. But where the fuck is the dude that takes care of the computer? Right? Anyways,
Right.
who else?
I have one.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. No, it really hurt me because I've known her since grade school. We didn't officially get we didn't become really close until senior year into kind of college years. But no, yeah, we got really close. We would always hang out. I told her everything, if not most things. And she did the same with me, but after kind of towards the end, the last few months, I kind of did feel a little off. I wanted to start distancing myself with her because I think it was just a personal thing. I was just not mentally capable to be the best friend I could be. And that was happening with another friend too. So I kind of just distanced myself, and we didn't talk for like a cool month, but then after a while we were just like, oh yeah, everything was like the same. But then I don't know what it is. I think maybe she might have felt it too, and we just kind of got into this big argument, and then I kind of was like, you know what? I texted her. I was like, you know what? I popped off. I'm sorry. Like, that was my fault. Whatever. And then she didn't text me. And around the same time, she had tweeted something that said, I don't need anybody's sympathy. And I got pissed again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take everything back. Fuck you. And I mean, I didn't say that, but I was just kind of like, you know what? Never mind. And we just didn't talk. I remember the whole year. It was literally a whole year. I was like, I miss my best friend so bad. Oh, it hurt. And I didn't have many friends. I only had really like 2 close friends, and like whatever. But she was like my best friend, but
What about
Yeah.
the gays?
they're annoying too. One of them's very annoying. No, they're well, yeah. I had a group of
It's
friends. She loved to call them gay, and honestly, I love that because they were always like, "What? No."
I think he told them that
Yeah.
I would say that. And they're like, no, we're not.
No. Anyways, going back to my other friend, but yeah, a whole year passed, and I saw her at my last job. I don't think I ever told you, but yeah, I saw her, and I had found out that I think she was pregnant because she had posted a picture, but then she took it down. So I'm like, I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to because I don't know. I didn't know where we were at, so I just sent prayers to her. But then I a few months later again, she had gotten married, and I'm like, damn, like. I started to get into my head, like, was I holding you back from something? Why is it that all of these things were happening so fast and, like, nothing? And, yeah, but I mean, that was kind of whatever. And I saw her, she came into my job, and I was just like, oh, like, hey, I was in shock. It really did feel like a breakup, I felt, like, nervous. I was like, it's been a long time. But, I kind of didn't really say anything. Again, I was in shock. And I was like, oh, hey. She was like, oh, yeah, this is my husband. I'm like, bitch, hi, husband. And, yeah, I ended up messaging her on Instagram, kind of just saying, like, I know it's weird, and you know how I am, so I wanted to say congratulations. I know finding somebody was at the top of her fucking list because... I mean, well, yeah, but I just kind of like was like, oh, yeah, that's it. But
Did she ever message you back?
she did, yeah. She was like, oh yeah, thank you. It was nice seeing you. Hope you're okay. And that was kind of it. And I kind of was kind of hoping like, oh, maybe we can be friends again because I do miss her, and I mean I hope she's doing well, but I don't know. Yeah, it hurt. I was 3 months after the breakup, air quotes, and I was like, holy shit, I need to talk to my therapist about this because it's really upsetting me. But again, I don't have very many friends, so the ones that I do have, I hold very dearly, so having her leave really hurt. But, I mean, I guess I made new friends.
You guys.
I love you.
I'm pretty sure you'll go to Frankie and Joseline's house before I do.
Shut up. It's coming, okay? It's coming. I feel like I really tell you guys' stories. Like, the same thing happened, like, with me. Like, I had this... So, I used to play soccer with my old best friend. We've known each other since we were 4. And then we were best friends. Well, we didn't become best friends until, like, middle school, but we've known each other for that long. Our families known each other. And then we stopped being best friends in, like, college. Like, I want to say, like, junior year, probably. But basically, like, we were the same person, almost. Like, we had all the same interests. We did everything together. We were so close that, like, I considered her a sister. Her sisters, her little sisters were my sisters.
Yeah.
I was at her house every day after school. And, like, you know, my parents separated when I was in high school. And, like, I was always at her house. You know, they took me in. I was kind of like an adopted daughter, you know, type of thing. You know, I was always there.
Claim me for taxes.
Yeah. They'd always feed me and all that stuff. You know, like, I loved her so much. But, like, as I got older, like, reminiscing on, like, how it was to be her best friend, like, sometimes I felt like I wasn't, like, worthy enough, or, like, and she would make me feel that way too. It's like, we played soccer together, and, like, you know, like, we both made varsity freshman year, and when I got a starting position I started as a defender. I'm a defender, but one time my coach put me to start as a forward, which is her position. She made this face to another girl on our player, like, what the fuck? Like, why is she being put in my position type of thing? And I never told her that it hurt so bad that she did that. But she did things like that, you know, like not like often, but like I noticed that she would do stuff like that and it would hurt me. But I loved her so much that I was like, you know, she's my best friend. It's okay. Like even if she hurts my feelings sometimes, you know. And I'm sure I hurt her feelings too because we were almost exactly the same, like personality, interests, everything. Maybe not personality, but you know, we were very similar. Like we were always like this. If anyone knew us, it's like, oh yeah, them two, they're best friends, they're sisters. Even her sisters were my best friends too, my little sisters. But then we get to college and we go to different schools. I see less of her. We still love each other, you know, like we tried. But then I got it in my head, like I was like, you know what, like she didn't always make me feel that good, you know, and like I said, as I got older, I was just like, if people don't make you feel good, then just let them go, you know. And I noticed that I started distancing myself because I was like, well, she's not making me feel good anymore. Like, why am I keeping this going? You know, I was like, I have other friends that don't make me feel that way. And I was so close to her, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna make it work. I'm just gonna keep it going, you know. But then I got to a point where I was tired. I was like, if you're not making me feel good, and I know what a true friendship is, I'm not gonna force this anymore. So we both just like stopped talking, and it hurt. Like we never like had any closure. We both just stopped, and I feel like she felt the same way. Like, you know, I'm not perfect. She wasn't perfect, but we never communicated anything to each other like that. Like when things got hard, we never did that. And yeah, I'm like, that's a relationship. You have to communicate those things, and we just couldn't do that. I think it was just like terrifying, you know, we're young, you know. And yeah, so she congratulated me when me and him got engaged, and she would say happy birthday here and there, and I would do the same. But one day I DM'd her and I was like, hey, like, because we never had that closure, and I was like, why, like, how come we're not friends? But like, I'm happy that we're not friends, like, in a sense, but like, it sucks. It's like you broke up with someone, you know, someone that I thought she was gonna be in my wedding, and like, you know, like a tia, you know, like all that stuff. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, like, I hope you're doing good. I'm so proud of you. We were both always hardworking. We knew that whatever we wanted, we were gonna get it, you know, because we were the same, you know. And she did, and I'm doing what I wanted to do. And I said, I'm so proud of you. I'm really happy for you. You know, like, I don't know what happened, but I'm happy, and I'm happy that you're happy. Like, I kind of just left it as that. And that was probably, like, 2-3 years after the fact that we stopped being friends. But, you know, like, I still love her, you know, and, like, I play soccer with her sister right now, someone that I used to hella love, and we're playing soccer together, so it's kind of like opening up the wound a little bit, you know?
Oh, man.
I'm seeing them, you know, like,
talk to her?
I don't talk to her at all. Like my ex-best friend, like, we don't talk at all.
Oh, the sister.
The sister, yeah. Like, me and her sister were super close too, and like, she would tell me things that she couldn't tell anyone else and all that stuff. But like, there was never. But it sucks because like I lost. It was never bad, you know, and like I lost that friend too, you know. And then now that I'm seeing her again, I'm like, oh, I miss you. Like, I love you. Like, I always have love for you. But it sucks that like multiple relationships like kind of went down with it, and it's just we didn't communicate. That's the bottom line. You know, we hurt each other. Everyone hurts each other in a friendship, any relationship, at some point. We just never communicated it.
Damn.
Ain't that crazy though that like when you break up with like a significant other, it's like maybe you guys weren't compatible with friends. It's like it's different because you guys were and probably still are.
You know that in a relation, when you break up with somebody, there's always gonna be somebody better, and you know you're gonna find somebody. But with a friend, it's like you can't just replace.
No, because you have invested time.
Yeah.
But you've spilled more to that friend than to the significant other. You're trying to, at some kind of way, impress that person, whereas with your friends, you're like.
Do you still
smell
have
my
like?
farts.
Oh, I'm sorry. But do you still have that like that opening? Like if she were to DM you, you would DM her back. That type
Oh
of thing?
yeah, like I feel
Does
like
she
we had that
respond?
respect. Yeah, she responded, and everything was nice. Like like we have love for each other, you know.
Okay.
But I
But
think
still not
like
as close as you guys.
oh
used to
no,
be, yeah.
because like it's been years. You know, it's been a really long time. Like we have completely different lives. She's a completely different person. I'm a completely different person. You know, like all we have is like our history of when we were children. You know, like we're so different now, and I'm like, that's a lot of years lost. You know, like.
I mean, I don't think they're lost. I mean,
No,
you
it's
guys
not
look-
lost.
But like,
It's evolution.
I mean, like in between, you know, like.
Oh,
We don't have that. We didn't
Okay.
have that time together, you know.
Okay.
So we're different. We're completely different now,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I don't know. It's just like I'm happy with who I have in my life now, and I can say this that I still love her. You know, like we had a really like yeah. Every friendship has their ups and downs, but like I really did love her and her family and like her sisters and everything. But you know, it's just we didn't fight for each other. You know.
Mhm. That's
So
kinda
like it
how I
slowly
feel
faded.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, if I see her, like, of course, like, hug her, you know, see how she's doing. But it's like, I feel like because it's been so many years, like, I feel like we would both be like, is it worth even putting effort into, like, you know, because we've been fine, you know, I'm not talking for, I want to say it's been like 5 years. I don't even know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
I was saying, like, you're pretty mature for your age. It was like, man, everything you're describing is something like we 30-year-olds go through, where it's like any person that puts up a, like, you know, like, it's
I
too,
know. Who you calling 30?
because
I'm
if it's too much effort, then it's like, you know, it's kind of hard to do all that.
Relationships are effort, yeah, for sure. But like after losing someone that you loved so much, like, and not talking for so long, it's kind of like you're nervous, you know, like
Yeah.
what if
I
they
get
don't want to
that.
put in the effort, you know? And I don't even know if I want. I don't even think. I don't know. Well, seeing her sisters now, like, it makes me miss them a lot.
You
But
hit a point where it's awkward now.
yeah, it's awkward because it's been so long. But yeah.
Frankie or T?
I'll put my 2 cents in, I guess.
Okay, go for it.
Mine, it was definitely, it wasn't a breakup, it was more of a break with a friend. And it was just, it was hard not being with, because this person was my best friend at the time. And it's like, we were both going through similar situations. We were both, you know, newly single, kind of just hanging out. And then once I got in a relationship, he was the other person that was with us all the time. He was my third wheel. Like we went to Disneyland together. Like, damn.
As third wheel.
Yeah. like
We're a small world,
we were
bro.
so close. Like
Small
I
world.
wanted him around all the time. So like we were super close.
Did we ever meet him?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Anyways, so you know, me and Sarah got together and I got him a job working with us, so we started working together. So it was like us three all the time, and so we would always, you know, hang out, do stuff. Yeah, basically Three Stooges, like, and it was a fun time hanging out with him. But after a while, I think, I don't know if it was our relationship or just it wasn't going great with me and Sarah at the time. Just stuff we would say to him. It was hard to trust him because stuff we would say to him, maybe he was saying to other people, and I don't know. It hit a certain point where it wasn't good for me and Sarah to hang around him as much. So we kind of made a point. Either we need to see a change or we gotta break it. You know, we gotta.
How old
kinda
were you
distance
guys?
ourselves. I was turning 26 at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was 26. So we never officially like broke stuff off. Like I talked to him too, and I was just like, oh, like this is how we feel. Like it's like this is what our situation is. Like it wasn't even about me. It was more about like how Sarah felt, and I wasn't gonna put our relationship between me and him with my relationship with Sarah. So I was just like, okay, either we need to see a change or like something's got to happen different. And we didn't get that like response that we wanted from him. And so we never like cut stuff off officially, but like we kind of distanced ourselves. Like it was a clear distance. Like we worked together, so it's kind of hard to distance somebody when you work at the same spot. So there was a lot of times we would give each other the cold shoulder. We weren't looking at each other. We weren't talking to each other, and it was hard. And all I wanted to do was just hang out and talk. And it was just difficult because I got Sarah there, and I got my friend there, and I'm just like, like I would look at her and I look at him, and I'm like, man, I can't do anything. I'm stuck in the middle.
Let me eat my breadsticks.
Yeah. it was definitely a hard time, but once we distanced ourselves enough where he was no longer working there, COVID hit. We weren't seeing each other, and obviously we have mutual friends. My brother has, our friends are all mutual friends. So if
Is he still in the picture?
Yeah.
Do we see him?
Yes.
Wow.
So,
I don't think they know who he really is.
yeah.
To be
Oh,
honest.
I'll explain it later, but
I don't know. Like
then-
we know who he is, but we don't know the. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And he's somebody I always wanted, like, in my wedding because he was somebody around for our relationship, for me and Sarah, like when we first started. And so he's somebody I wanted in my wedding. Like, I already knew that, like, once I hit a certain point in our relationship with Sarah. And, that break did us, I think it did us pretty good, because after a while I saw him mature. I saw things in his relationships where, like, he was finally having a stable relationship. He now has a kid. Like, he's a complete 180. Like, he changed I don't want to say changed as a person, but just
Grew up.
I saw him grow a little bit, and having him around, like, he'd come to events, and there was times where I didn't even want to be at the event because he was there, because I already knew, like, do I talk to him, do I not talk to him, like, what's happening with our relationship. So it was just very, like, monotone, very just, we weren't talking. Yeah, limbo, basically what it was. But I think after a while, like, he actually came up to us and he apologized for whatever it was that was bothering us. And he apologized not only to me, but to Sarah. And I think she saw that, and we both saw him grow. And we hung out with him prior to him and his new relationship, and, like, we saw him grow, and that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a difference. We want to see a change. We wanted to see that he was a little, like, showing a little bit of sympathy, not sympathy, but, like, he was sorry. And so we saw that, and because of that, he is now officiating our wedding.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Happy ending
He
to
is
all
in
this.
yes, happy ending to that. So,
Well, I'm
I-
sure.
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
So because we saw that kind of change, and that break did us some good, I'm glad to say that he's officiating our wedding, because he was there from the beginning when
That's so cute.
me and Sarah were
Some
getting
soul
together.
searching.
Yes.
But that probably helped that you cut him off too.
Yeah.
I think
Sometimes
so,
people need those.
because I think it gave him a chance to look
Uh-huh.
elsewhere to.
Reflect.
And
Yeah. So I'm glad.
And then we'll
I'm glad the person he is today. And he's somebody I couldn't escape. He's somebody that's gonna be in my life, regardless, because I got
Ever.
so many
Forever,
friends.
ever.
Yeah, so many friends that I hate confrontation. I hate cutting ties.
Yeah.
So when that happens, like, I'm glad to see that who he is now.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Cheers to that, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
The only happy ending.
That was a
Sorry.
I know.
Everybody's so
All of us
sour.
are like, bye.
Everybody's so sour. It's like, damn. But
We're
no,
like,
what
yeah.
did I say
we're
about
like
us?
imagining our best friend's gonna be in our wedding, and he actually gets it.
No, he's not gonna be in the wedding. He's
Which
gonna be like
I
saying,
made
"Do
my,
you take
my list of
the
people
person
who
to
was
say
at
I
my
do."
wedding, and I had one
Yeah.
more spot, and I'm like, who do I put in there? And I knew I wanted him, but at the time, like, stuff, it was still rocky between us, and we were still in that limbo phase, and so I didn't put him there. And we knew we didn't want, like, a minister or a priest or anything, so we were looking for people to actually officiate us, and we had suggestions, and then it didn't dawn on me until, like, later. I'm like, what about him? And I'm like,
Did
and
you
I-
ask
I
him?
It just makes sense.
yeah, I already
Oh,
asked him,
that's
and
That's
so
fucking
that it just
amazing.
made sense at the time, and I was like, man. And it was actually on my 30th birthday when I asked him, and I was like, so I'm
Dude, I
glad.
can't believe it happened at that party you told me.
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
I was drunk at the time
Best
too.
party
but I knew what I wanted.
Bro, you wanted me.
I knew I was drunk, but I knew exactly.
The next day, he was probably like, "Am I really?"
Yeah, I knew
Am I
that's what I
really?
wanted.
Yes.
And I was like,
Has he come up to you being like, dude, I just took the classes Now
Oh,
I
no,
have
not
the-
yet. Like,
he's
I
like,
haven't-
now I have the power.
Not yet.
I can marry you
We
right
we
now.
gotta update him on details and stuff like that. So
Oh, nice,
yeah,
nice.
but I'm glad.
Damn. Happy. Did you want to finish yours? Because I know you got cut off by JJ.
Gigi's so fucking rude.
She had her place.
I don't know, just had my piece, I guess. I mean, I will say there was another friendship that I actually did kind of like cut off as well, because long story short, in that whole relationship was that I was the person who kept asking, my friend, like that friend.
We're like, who?
I know.
We're like,
Once you said it, we're like,
Like I kept being the one person to be like, hey, do you want to hang out? I kept being that person, like, hey, let's hang out, this and that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't being reciprocated on the other end.
So you
And
were trying.
yeah, I was the one who was always like, hey, let's hang out, let's just go for a walk or whatever, Let's just, I was always that person. I'm like, I just got tired of being that person. And I waited for them to be that, the same way, and they never were. So
that's
I'm
how
like,
you know when someone cares.
I'm like, exactly. I'm like, hey, maybe I should see if they think the same.
You know what?
But I'm like, that's the one relationship that I wish really did work out. Oh, that's the one that hurts, because we were like the best of friends. Like I shared so much about.
I never
like,
understood that relationship.
what do you
Is
mean?
there any of the girls that you brought to Tahoe?
No, you guys never. No, you guys never met her. Oh, she's amazing. Though. we rarely talk, but we're still like we're between that girl that I had brought. One of the girls. Oh wait, no.
You brought two.
No, not at all.
Oh, it wasn't that trip. It was. Sorry. Anyway, no,
Oh, another Tahoe trip.
Oh, you guys went to Tahoe without me?
it's the
Yeah.
same one.
You know what?
No,
Before
no,
you
that-
say anything
yeah.
else, I don't know. I almost feel like you had. I don't know. Maybe, and this is because you said you guys were like the bestest of friends, but I never really saw it. There was always something, but honestly, I think
Maybe it was a one way.
No, I think you were just
No, there was even. I remember you guys.
I feel like maybe she felt some type of way about you being happy.
That is a big thing.
I don't know. Maybe.
Look,
Yeah.
she had a really good life. I mean, from the outside looking in, but it's like
I talked about shit about like the shit that
know.
my dad did and everything.
I know,
I was
but-
so open about it. I'm like, I
but-
wasn't that happy.
But even with that, like we've always been together. Like like even my mom. Like when people talk about my mom or when they tell my mom stuff, they're like, "Wow, you're always so happy. You should be so. I'm sure you're so proud of your daughters." And I'm like, "We're trash, but." Speak for yourself.
I know.
No. But I'm saying like you have a wonderful life, and I really think that like at some point maybe she felt some type of way. And the reason why I say that is because one of my really good friends lost one of her closest friends, and the reason being, I mean, I'm not to say too much, but it's like one of the reasons why the girl said she couldn't really be around her was because my friend was doing good. She was like, she was in a good place. She's like, you're just in a really good place right now, and she's feeling some type of way, and she's like, so you don't want to be my friend because you don't want to see my success?
Sometimes it's too hard.
It is, and I mean, even when my friend got her first apartment, I was like, God damn it, look at you. I remember when you were renting.
I'm your high person.
Right?
If that ever comes, like I've always been that kind
No,
of
dude, I was like, look at you living in your sister's, like in both of you, like two different sisters renting a room, and then you rented here for so long. I was like, I am so fucking proud of you, biatch. And she's like, you're the only person who has said that. And I've had my sisters in here, and I've had my best friend. I wasn't her best friend at that point, but she was like, I had my best friend, and no one has said that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know why, but she said this girl's like, and and you know what, the way something I didn't say when you were talking about your friend, I feel like maybe she thought how there's always that one that thinks
The grass is greener.
subconsciously, no, there's always the one that thinks
It's a competition.
she needs me more than I need her.
Yeah.
And I think in that relationship, this girl thought that my friend needed her more, because she had the family, her life was more put together, and I say that in quotes. So she's like, oh well, she needs me more. But then stuff started falling apart in her own life while my friend is working so hard to pull herself out of toxic environments, going to work, doing the hard work, and her friend is like, come on, dude, admire the hard work that she's putting into it. It's not like it's just happening overnight. She's really working hard to get this shit. And so I think that's kind of like what I'm seeing, kind of like I couldn't think of any other reason why she just stopped talking to you. But I feel like maybe that's what it was. Not to hype you up, but yeah.
He's a hype man.
That plays a big factor.
But I feel like if that relationship were to, I would welcome that friendship again. I just want to know. I would want to know first why it happened. But I would totally be down to like kickstart that relationship again. I don't know. It just depends on that.
Maybe.
But my life is so different now. So maybe she doesn't deserve the better half of me. I don't
But
know.
I remember my friend saying, "It's not my fault. You don't want to be like my friend." So you're telling me that the reason why we're not friends right now is because it's my fault that I'm doing better.
I don't get that.
You know. So no, I can't think of anything else because I mean, how do you say? We've never been show-offs. We're all very supportive. You know?
Because we've been through the shittiest situations in life. I feel like we've been in like the situation, like the shittiest situation you can fucking say, like some of it, you know, in our lives that I feel like that's humbled us to be who we are today.
I'm still getting humbled.
I have to.
No,
Like,
I know.
No, we're not perfect. Like I can only speak for myself. Like I'm not perfect whatsoever, but now I'm more open to learn. Yet, like if I fucked up, like please tell me. You know, I'm much more open about it now than like ever before.
She is.
She's still matured. I love it. I love it.
And I feel like a big part of it is because, you know, I don't want to recreate whatever shitty situations, you know, were what they were like growing up. You know, I don't like. We are literally. I was like having this conversation with Alex this morning. I'm like, yeah, we are literally like the ones changing generational dramas.
And
Really
like the way you're saying that,
It's fucking hard.
That's what I like when you guys.
If you're changing and the other people aren't changing with you, that's when it gets hard.
No.
I start thinking it's my like. I start you know burn, but you gave him that chance, and that's awesome. You know, it shows that.
Yeah. But sometimes you can't see the light unless bridges are burned.
Let me think of that. Oh, I have to think about it. You can't see the light because you're burning the bridge in order to.
Okay,
you have the smart glasses on.
That's a good one, but I have to think about it. I couldn't catch it that fast. Damn it.
Did you just think of that? I have another one, but it's a guy, and I'm curious to know if it's
Likes you.
Huh?
No. That's usually what happens.
Has he always been labeled as a guy friend?
Yes. No. And it's not. It was just always friendship, but I don't know if it was just because it's a guy thing or girls are just in general empathetically different, because he would always look at things one way or his way. I would tell him this is happening with this one other person, and he'd be like, well, why don't you just try to make up with them and blah, blah. And I'm like, because I guess I have to give you more detail because this happened and that happened. And then he was like, oh, so he wouldn't really understand.
The context.
I'd have to put him into my position. He couldn't just be like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm not saying I was always right, but I just always remember feeling so, not belittled, but just kind of like I was crazy in a way. Like anytime I'd kind of just like, this I'll go like, I'd kind of just like talk to him about a situation. He'd always be like, well, it was always my fault in a way. And I'd just be like, okay, well, try to understand it from my perspective. And I just always felt like,
sounds like he never struggled.
Huh?
Like in anything.
The thing is, he did, and he struggled so much just as a kid. And even now, it's
Maybe it's his way of coping.
Yeah,
It
I was
is.
thinking the same.
It is. And as much as I just always remember thinking, I want to help him. I want to be his friend. I want to be there for him. I want to fix him.
Damn.
But he just would never let himself open up. I'd always be like, because he'd ask me, he's like, oh, like, we never really, like, go into depth of, like, just conversation or anything like that. And, excuse me. And I told him it's because I can't really trust you because you never say anything.
Yeah,
Like,
that trust isn't there.
yeah, so, and he'd always kind of get mad at me in a way for that. So, I mean, I've recently started to talk to him again, and again, he's not
Is he
doing.
still the same?
He is.
You gotta
It's
let it go.
been like
You gotta let it go.
3. I can't. I just feel like
Is he somebody you want around all the time?
he's fun. He's a good friend.
Maybe he's just a friend that you have to love him for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, I have relationships like that.
A good
now.
time,
Yeah.
a good time
Close,
friend.
but I can only love
Yeah.
you. I can only love you from
Yes.
afar.
But you have to understand
for your own
Or-
sake.
the way I'm seeing it, and we forgive and forgive and fucking forgive, and it's
Ooh,
something
yeah.
that we're
That's-
going to therapy for. It's something that we were taught to forgive and forgive and fucking forgive, and not even know why we're fucking forgiving. That's just how we grew up.
It's
That's in our
hard.
roots because of our parents.
And it's hard when you love someone.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
you love your friend, right?
Well, I love him in a sense where I just want him to be happy because I feel like this guy just hasn't gotten a break, and I that's why I still want to be friends with him because he needs a friend, and he doesn't exactly have sorry, he doesn't have like
Other friends, really?
yeah, but he doesn't have a girlfriend like to be like just like let's talk about it like
But that's not your
you get
responsibility
Yeah.
to like. That's
Oh, I don't
such a
know.
heavy thing to
I
like.
think it's like
hold
you
on.
said,
I don't actually mean like a girlfriend. I mean like
I know
a
what
friend.
you mean.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I feel like it, like from the outside, like from
So you
hearing
have
what you're
guy
saying, I feel
friends?
like you're sacrificing a lot to help him, but he's not helping himself, and
And
that's
it-
kind of taking a burden on you as well.
But
It did.
okay, I have a completely opposite from what
Yeah.
everyone else is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's saying, it's not your burden.
Yep.
And as much as you care, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So
Yeah.
you being there and being able to be like, hey, you can confide in me, you can talk to me, you can open up, so that you can understand him better. That's great that you're there, but you can never make him. And if you're gonna be if you want to be his friend, with some people you have to just accept them how they come, and it might be something that you're like, it drives me nuts, but you don't want to open up. Okay, eventually he will, or you might say something that sparks something to get him to speak on his feelings. But some people, like your sister said, like that's his way of coping. Some people shut the feelings part completely down
Yeah.
so that they don't have to deal with it because it's gonna open up a whole mess of crap.
They
That's-
become numb.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
That's
and
a
that's-
problem of mine.
that's something that takes more than just one friend telling you, "Hey, you can talk to me."
Mhm.
Because it's like, why would I talk to you? No matter how close we are, this is something that's gone for his whole life. You being no matter what you think about all these friendships that everyone has. They're chapters in all our lives. They're not lifelong. They're not from birth. So,
Sorry, I'm thinking in my head and I feel very.
You're good.
so there's like,
Triggered.
sorry.
This is a safe space.
So
No, it's not you. It's just
I know.
it's
You're
going.
you're thinking
Well,
like
thinking
it's-
a lot.
What you're putting in the relationship or the friendship is, if you're not getting that in return, you just have to dial it back, I guess.
it depends.
You can
though.
still be friends with them, just dial it back and don't expect as much.
Think about
That-
it.
yeah,
At least you tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of acceptance more than anything. If you're truly his friend, you have to accept that he's not going to give you that. And if you don't, if that's a boundary of yours, if that's okay, well, I can't be friends with someone who can't be open with me, then that's where your limit. So you can be a friend from afar. I'm here, but I'm not going to be spending and investing my time in you and investing my heart in you because I'm not getting anything from it. But if you just want to be there, you have to just That's
Yeah.
just how he is. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's because we also, and I hate to keep going back to that place, but is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Dude,
It's just, yeah.
it's like, that's kind of how my dad went. Like, I tried getting him help. I fucking tried. And everyone who I called and spoke to said, he has to be the one. He has to be the one.
That's true.
And I'm like, I had to find someone because I'm like, you don't understand, he's gonna die. And I remember telling one of my coworkers, and I was like, oh, I'm trying to find help for this person. And she was like, honey, you have to, it's sad to say, but sometimes, I was like, it's my uncle. And she was like, honey, you have to understand that sometimes, that's just the way people go. And when she said that, I was like, it's my dad. And, she's like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. But I'm like,
No, she's right.
I should have told you it was that, but, no, some people just don't change. But I think that's the part where we have to think otherwise. We have to, like, in my mind, and I don't know if in yours, but like, we have to think that they do.
there's always hope.
There is, because we grow up with those fucking novelas and those like Disney stories where shit ends up happy, but unfortunately, like, we know that isn't the case. We know that isn't the case, but this shit took out all my hair. But we keep trying.
That's, I'm realizing now that's why I'm,
We give people
Fixated
a
on
lot of
sticking-
chances.
Fixated on this guy.
People.
yeah, and not fixated, but
But like trying
just
to help.
why I just have it in my head that I have to help.
Yeah.
I have to help him. I have to.
You see the
Because
path.
you care.
Well, yeah, but it's because it's like it literally intertwines. Like, I couldn't help him,
Yeah.
so now I have like
You're
this.
gonna make up for it.
Yeah.
In a way, ugh.
And see this when
Yeah.
with the whole thing with my dad, like, when I think of my dad passing, it's never like in my head. It's not, God, I lost my dad. I lost him. My dad. No, it's always, man. I feel bad for him not being able to get better. He kind of let those demons win, and so that's the part where people are always like, "Oh, I'm sorry you lost your dad." It's like, no, I feel bad because of everything that was going through his head as he was dying. Like, it wasn't like, I knew what he cared about. I knew everything that his struggles, everything that was in his mind, because he was dealing with a lot of demons, because again, he could not open up. And it goes back all the way to when he was extremely young, things that he never, like, they tried to take him to therapy, but it never worked. So it's like, man, my dad lived a really tough life, and I don't think he was ever truly happy. And I think that's the,
Yeah, it's funny because we actually stopped talking for a while, and he went to your guys' wedding. I don't know if you guys remember, but
oh yeah.
He crashed our wedding?
he
I'm
did.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I let him.
No, I mean,
She asked
sure.
me.
You took a picture. I remember there was a little picture.
Yeah, we have a little thing, all four of us. It's cute. But, no, yeah. Oh, that's also a falling out too. We used to work at my first job. We all kind of just, I don't even know how it happened. There's these two other guys, we like got all three of us close, and then one of our friends was like, oh, we're gonna like bring in this one other, the kid that I was talking about right now. He's like, oh yeah, like we're gonna hang out, and then we were just inseparable for a really long time.
Yeah.
And
Oh, my friend.
after a while, I mean, I these broads even met them, so after a while, like something kind of
One of them wanted to,
dumbass. No,
What?
Did he not?
What?
No. What was it? The one that was like, ooh, is Jessica dating anybody?
No.
The white dude, the light skin.
Oh, God.
He wanted me to be his sugar mom.
Literally,
Sugar mama?
you're crazy.
Damn.
I think you're insane.
Get him on the phone.
No, but
Get him on the phone.
no, yeah, he one of them one of the guys, he was really, you actually know him.
Oh,
Yes.
is it Philip?
Philip is a 50-something-year-old guy.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
No, he used to work with you.
No names.
No names.
No names.
Um,
Call him breadstick.
Breadstick. No, he was talking, like, he was really close to this one girl, and it was really, it was just a weird situation.
Did she work with me too?
Huh? Oh, no, she didn't. No.
Oh. I was like, I know some drama from your place.
No, and it ended, like, it was a separate friendship, and that ended weird. And then it wasn't until the friend, again, that I just talked about, he kind of hooked up with that same girl, and that their dynamic, those two guy friends, their dynamic just fell off. And then after that, we all kind of just just drifted apart. I still talk to two of them. The other guy, one of them I had to cut off because he was just
The one I used
moving
to
a
work
little
with,
weird.
or-
No. Oh yes, actually. Yeah, he was moving a little weird, and I just
Okay, I think I know.
I
who you're
couldn't.
talking about.
yeah. So you know how he is. So he was very colorful. So but that's, I'm not gonna lie, that's one friendship I don't really care to mend. But yeah, we all kind of just went our separate ways. I still talk to them. One of them got married, so I'm like, oh, great. But yeah, they're all. I feel like guys are just so not weird to be friends with. I don't know if
Just different.
yeah, very
I think it's
different.
Fun, but they're
Like in a
like that.
girl-guy friendship.
Yeah, it's
Battle of the
I have
sexes.
one
Here
of
we
those
go.
no, it's like
My only best
I
friend.
know.
I'm your best friend. What are you talking
Buddy.
No, but like outside relationship.
But
yeah.
I will say that
They're
the
not-
only way you change is through the darkest time.
yeah, they're just not as
They take everything at face value.
yeah, and
At least the ones I know.
well, I mean, yeah. I feel like with girls you can just be like so much more like
Girl,
like
let's-
nasty.
I'm gonna
Be
say
the-
this. Not necessarily, because there's some girls that act like guys and
No,
some
sugar
guys that act like
tea.
girls. Ooh.
But
I'm
then
one-
it all just goes back to how what you were exposed to.
Yeah.
You know, it always goes back to that.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
No, yeah. Anytime I'd kind of want to be like be real with them, they'd kind of just be like,
Guys don't like
Because
to
they don't
do that.
know.
They like to clown.
Literally,
They
they'd
like
be
to have
like-
fun.
but
They
it's
just
like-
like to be
yeah,
If
they
they think
very
about it,
surface
yeah.
level.
There's
And I
gender,
learned that pretty
there's like
fast.
gender roles where like guys
Mhm.
don't show their emotions, you know.
Yeah.
But like we know that's not true.
always have
It's just like what they were taught. you
And the
know?
thing is,
Only
sometimes
a guy will open up either to a very close guy or sometimes a close girl. Like
Mhm.
every now and then you have that down chick like people open up to.
A down
No, yeah. I was able to
Yeah.
get pretty close to all of them. We all pretty like separately. We all shared a lot of
But it's
Things.
never for guys. It's never a group
Yeah.
thing. It's
No,
never
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm opening up to the group. Like this is how I
Uh-huh.
feel.
I-
Like, it's only a one-on-one situation.
yeah. Anytime I'd hang out with one of the guys, he told me some like traumatic shit. I'm like, holy, thank you for sharing. First of all, I'm like,
Damn, at least you got
Yeah.
that. Shit.
yeah, but excuse me. Yeah, it was. Well, that friendship, it wasn't like too hard. I'd still think about one of them every now and but anyway, sorry, going back to the other kid that I was originally talking about. Thank you guys for helping. Now I know I will appreciate. I'll be his friend from a distance.
At least,
Just
Unless
realize-
he reaches
at
out.
least you're
for help.
just think of
Unless
that
he's
as at
asking
least
for
you
it,
reached
know?
out.
The thing is, he never will. I
That's-
know him,
yeah.
and
Oh,
Just be
sorry.
there for support. Don't
You
beat
can
yourself
leave the
up.
door open. Just don't put
No,
too much effort.
he
in.
needs you. Don't give up on him.
okay.
Don't listen
my
to these clowns.
Stop because that's
Oh my
literally
God.
Devil's advocate.
Unless it's a life or death situation. Like
Don't.
that's
Yeah.
different.
You're the little voice in the back of my head. That's
Notice I'm the
literally
only one saying that though.
You gonna put all this?
Honestly,
effort
no. The reason why I say what I say is because I had a really close
Wow.
friend that, like, when she got with her boyfriend, I noticed right away that the things that she would say about him sounded very like abusive behavior, and I was like, oh, that doesn't sound okay, you know. And then eventually he physically hit her, and then she came to me with that information, and I was like, oh no, like this is not okay. I got my mom involved because she was really close with my mom too. I was like, we need to help her. I was like, she needs to seek help. She needs to get away from this guy. She didn't want my help. She cut me off. I wanted to help her, and you know what, they might still be together, but he was bad. Remember? You know.
You at least did everything.
But
you
it's
could.
like I tried,
You
and I
did.
even called a hotline. I was like, here, I have them on the line. Like, you know, like you just need to talk to them and like get your help. But they even told me like if she doesn't want the help, there's nothing you can do.
Relationships
you
are
know?
just a whole other.
There's
But
nothing you
she
can-
heard it from you, right? Like you need
Yes.
help. Like you.
Yes, I told her even before he even hit her. I was like, how he's acting sounds very scary.
A lot of people don't see
Even
the
she would tell me,
signs.
like,
I know, and I would tell him, I was like, I'm scared for her, like, you know, but there's nothing that you could do.
People like in that situation don't really see it coming. They're just super.
Before
Oblivious.
we-
They're
yeah.
infatuated with
Infatuated.
whatever they have. And
Yeah,
Their,
but
their partners are just very good at persuading you.
Manipulative.
Very manipulative.
Narcissist.
And you're very vulnerable at that point, so I feel like you're very easily swayed. But I
Yeah.
feel like it just depends on person to person.
Before we trail away from it, I think the reason why we're saying why they're also saying, you know, from a distance, and at some certain extent, I kind of think the same. No offense, Frankie.
I'm
no.
just kidding.
It's because we're doing a lot of work, and you're doing a lot of work to change that mentality that you have. You've put in a lot of hours. You know, you're going to therapy, and you're very vulnerable when it comes to that topic, and being put in that space again, maybe not having all the tools that you need, might pull you back into that space because it's all you do know.
so wait, are you going to
So
therapy
be
for this
careful.
relationship?
No, we're going to therapy for
Just
our
for your
lives.
own mental.
For
Okay,
your
guys,
life.
I still
I was
gotta
gonna say
go
because
through
you're
it.
paying for this relationship. We're just letting you know.
These are the traits
Yeah.
that we're trying to get away from, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're the traits that we attract.
You know, I'm actually kind of
I know.
scared because I mean I've never been in like an official relationship, but I wonder if that's a trait of mine of needing to fix broken.
That's a lot of people.
Just know
That's a
there's
big trait. For people. Some people
there's
have it.
chance.
So
You can
so
break.
my aspect is
Cycles.
same thing
I
I said.
have-
Yeah.
There is no.
You have proof.
Hey,
No,
he
I
needs
have-
help. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I have very high standards, so I know what I don't want.
Yeah.
I know what I do. I mean, I don't fully.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, but
I know what I want. Well, I think I know. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna tell my friends about this.
You didn't have to look for her wig like that just because you. No, I'm just.
Ah, you're gonna go.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, I'm just like I like really hope this isn't a common theme for me.
It won't because you're.
Low key has.
You're
You're
trying
But you're
to
also
change it.
like what, 21?
23.
What
You
the
don't
last
find
time?
yourself till like 25.
No.
That's
I
You
know.
don't
maybe
find
for
yourself
me,
until like
Fully
30.
developed.
Okay.
28, 30, I'll say.
28, 30, yeah.
33,
So,
30.
so I'll go back before you ever turn 30 or
Wow.
28.
That'll
So
be
the
too
aspect of this
early.
is like
Yeah.
have no regrets. So you put in your all for this guy. You let him as long as you let him know how you feel about him and that he can always reach out to you. You've done your best. Same thing as Jocelyn when she said about her girlfriend that was an abusive relationship. She put in her all.
Yeah.
She let her know.
She still needs to
She
grow.
talked to her and let her know like you put in your all. So you have no regret. That's a blessing actually. You have no regrets because you did
regrets.
everything.
No regrets.
They're trying to get that out.
So bittersweet story from me. We'll go into me. High school friends. I had a good group of them. Hung out every time during cafeteria, playing card games, whatever. Everything. we were basically nerds. We even hung out. We even hung out after high school, playing flag football at the Silliman Center right over here. And yeah, so football and everything.
Sports.
She's like, what?
Damn, I'm gonna burn myself even more for this one. But over time, I've noticed that they all decided to go to different community colleges altogether. Like I was the one that was kind of excluded out. where they all went to like DeVry University and I went to Ohlone. They all decided. They all.
No, I was kidding. I know, but like
DeVry or Deanza. Yeah. So they all. So they all like separated. You know, they basically all migrated in a group, and I was like left alone, and I was like
They
thinking
didn't
of
even
myself.
tell you?
Not really, but it was at the point where I was thinking of myself like I'd rather just go to Ohlone because it's right here.
Yeah.
And so that's basically it. And we still try to hang out, you know, Facebook, MySpace, all that stuff. You know, we rotate. We still communicate with each other. And but basically, the end of the story, like if they were to contact me to hang out, I would still be open for it. I still
top 8, huh?
Yeah, right. The top 8. So I would still be open to that. That's the end result of this story. But like during the middle part of that, that's where I get nerdy. This is because I remember it. 2007. Spider-Man 3 movie.
Are you talking about your friends?
This is what I get into.
Had friends?
Shh.
Listen.
Listen.
They played cards in the cafeteria.
So all of us, the group members, I kept in contact with them. We're like, hey, Spider-Man 3 is coming out. Let's go see it together. Fremont Theater, where City Sport used to be at. This is City Sport is at now. And so we're all gonna go over there. We're all gonna hang out. We're all watch the movie. And it's like, okay. And so I'm still working at the time. 7:30 hits. We're supposed to hit the movies around 9. They let me know. I text my friend, like, hey, you guys are already there? I'm about to go up there. They tell me they're at the movie theater way like in Milpitas.
Wrong theater.
No. They decided to change the theater without even letting me know. I already bought the tickets and everything.
For everybody?
Well, no, just for myself. But like they told me like, yeah, let's all go there. Let's all look there. Wow. And like during this time, this was a period where it's like they were kind of like they already went to a different college before me. You know, like different from me. They already kind of doing their own thing, group things without me. And until this was like the last straw where it's like the nail in the coffin type of thing where it's like I tried to hang out with you guys and then all of a sudden you just changed theaters just like that. And it feels like it was more sorry for me because like my coworkers and one of my best friends that's still today, like they decided to just join me, even though they're not even nerds like that. They still decided, let's go see the movie with you, and so they decided to do that. And it was Andrea. It was Andrea, who's not even a nerd at all. She's basically like Jessica, but like it's just like that.
I take that as a compliment.
It's a compliment, yes. But yeah, they decided to join me for the movie, and after that, it was just like I'm kind of done, you know, like. By then, a little after that, I ended up being in a relationship, and then a little after that, I ended up being in another relationship with this one. And this one. Sorry, I migrated. So by then it was by then it became too hard to like coordinate. I would still say message them happy birthday, and their birthday comes up on Facebook or whatever. I'll still message them, but whatever. It's like I stopped trying to hang out with them.
Good.
Yeah, 2014 hits, and I was like, you know what? It's been a while. I've always been the hermit. I've always stayed in my room. I never really hung out with people out during the summer, and that's it. And I always stayed in my room, draw, whatever, But this was the time where I wanted to reach out and just hang out with people, and I finally wanted to reach out to all my high school friends and hang out with them, and they're like, okay. And so we wanted to do a reunion before the actual high school reunion, and just the group of us, not every single person we knew in high school, just the group of us. And so we wanted to do that, and the timing was coming up that we were all gonna hang out, and then eventually I found out that one of my best friends happened to have leukemia and passed away. Oh, damn. And he was the best. If I was to compare him, he was like
your better friend.
Basically the leader of. I would coordinate him as the leader of the group because he was the best of us. He was never abusive or emotional or anything. He was always happy-go-lucky and always coordinated. Like, hey, let's all meet here, and we all did that, and that was everything. And
he was a coordinator.
He was the coordinator, and he ended up having leukemia, and I ended up finding out in a Target parking lot that one of our friends that we hung out with finding out that he ended up having that. And it was right before we were all supposed to hang out. So we ended up still hanging out, the group of us that were left. And then we all ended up coordinating again because we were all supposed to go do his funeral. Damn. And then we see him in his body, in the open casket and everything. See his parents. And it got to the point where, I've known this kid since elementary school. And so my mom even knew him. So my mom went up there and made a speech about him,
Oh.
and I went up there just nothing in mind. Like I saw some of my other friends go up there say a speech on paper, and after my mom went, I was like, I just went up there, made a speech, just like I just said something, whatever, and I saw his dad in approval, just like, like shaking his head, looking at me, like he was happy, and then like just seeing his body, and then finally you see the casket go down, and that's where it is the absolute worst feeling in the world, because I never got that closure that you guys did, because you two or anybody else, you did your best, you reached out, you did everything you could, and here seeing the closet, the casket close, it goes in slow motion, and you see his body disappear. He ended up getting cremated, but like seeing that, it's always been in my head. And since then, like I said, like if his friend, like if our group of friends, we did hang out another time after that, but after a while, we all went our separate ways, because we end up getting married, having kids. It gets complicated after a while. But if they were to reach out, I would always like, hey, let's hang out then. Yeah, like whoever coordinate. I don't want to be the one to coordinate. It's too hard for me. But like if they were to be, I'll be there. But the guy's sister, I was never close with her, but eventually we ended up becoming close, because she heard the speech I gave about her brother that day, and she ended up reaching out to me on Instagram and Facebook, and we're still friends to this day. And she likes almost every story I put up of JJ, and so I see that sometimes. So it's always great. We never say anything, but I always see the like buttons and stuff like that. The respect of it. So it's always there. So if get anything, it's like you guys try. You did everything you could to reach out to the people that you love and care the most. And here I finally reached out, but it was too late. It was too late. And so that's where I take the concept where I go back to the family member that apparently I don't like, where it's like, I don't want to say don't like, but like I still extend the olive branch to. It's always open. It's always gonna be there, because I never want to fully close anything, because I know what a fully closed classic looks like on a friend. It's that's what she was to me. She was a best friend. So it sucks. Like I hope to God I never know what it feels like, lose a parent and everything, but to lose a friend, like guys,
it's still hard.
It still sucks.
And then having, like you said, no closure. It's terrible.
Yeah, no closure. It still sucks.
Wait, so you guys were planning something to get together?
We
And when you reached out to him, you realized what?
Our friend reached out, that he passed away from leukemia,
so you never got the chance.
I never got a chance to hang out, and he was actually the best of us. Like all the friends, like we were all cool and everything, but he was the better one. He was the one I knew the longest, and like after the Spider-Man 3 incident, where it's just like we stopped reaching out to. I stopped reaching out to them. I stopped trying, and I went my own way. They went theirs, but we still respect. We're still friends on Facebook, whatever, But I just never, I wish I got the, the chance to see him one more time before this casket closed. But take my life experience and that you did your best. That's all you can take from it. And so, but yeah, that was my friend. But as for now, like the way you, especially you, the way you're thinking of like, I'm ruling out friends at this age, because it's too hard at this point. That's where I am, like, once I became 30, where it's, like, friends, where it's, like, you hit a point where it's just, like, especially now that we have a kid, we have our home, it's, like, it's hard to coordinate things, it's, like, it's hard to hang out with you when you act the way you are, or you do the way you do.
I feel like you have to have friends that are accepting of our life, because
exactly.
we do have a child, and I do appreciate people that, understand that.
Mm-hmm. Also, we were getting married at 30, and she's barely turning 26.
Yeah, you're ahead of the game.
So you're already ahead of us. So your maturity level is just different than, because you're already at a certain point.
Goes back
And it's
to the
probably,
life experiences.
Yeah, life
it's probably
experiences.
because
You get your life experiences before other people.
That whole you had to learn that whole tie with your friend. I almost said her name with that friend. See, and it's all in when you have to deal with that. Because for me, that was at
and that was
28.
That was a lot later.
Yeah.
It was 10 years off that. If it's just I'm very observant, and I when someone tells me something and really lets me know how they feel about any situation on their own, I take in their experience and I kind of make it my own, and I learn from it. So if I see someone treating me a certain way, if I see someone treating someone like, or treating him a certain way, like, I'm like, you know what, I don't like that. And if I was in that situation, I would do this instead. You know, like, I just gotta protect myself. That's how I've always been, you know, like, there's experiences in my life where I'm like, you know, I have to act a certain way to protect myself. And if that means pushing people out of my life,
You're protecting your peace.
Yeah.
That's
And-
great that you know you need to protect yourself.
I just don't have the I don't have the capacity to
You got a lot going.
put on more than what I have. Like,
So you got a lot
I do not have my shit together. Like, them two especially know. Like, I struggle every day with like my life, and like it's hard. I don't want to cry, but you know, like I can only handle so much, and like if I can prevent more struggles, I'm gonna do that because I just can't take on more.
It's your
I
peace
just
of mind.
can't. Yeah.
You gotta keep it.
Plus
I'll
you're
have
coordinating
I'll
a
have a
wedding.
mental breakdown if I have
Yeah.
you know.
Plus,
do
you're
any
coordinating
more.
a wedding now. It's like shit.
I haven't even started that.
Do I
right?
have to get married?
No, that one's solid.
No,
That's
I know.
solid for life.
The amount of peace I have just not having certain people in my life or contact
Oh
with
yeah,
them.
yeah.
is just a lot of clarity. It's a little more, less anxiety. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
And like it's unwanted.
I can
Like
go to bed peacefully without, just knowing my relationship where it is right now. It's perfect. Like I don't have to worry about stuff. Like perfect.
Just know that you deserve that.
And you know,
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
people in your life too, like if there is ever like an issue, like you can communicate that with them because you know it's worth, you know,
And
like
you should be able to.
yes,
That's the hard.
and
'cause there's some people
reciprocating
that
it
cannot.
too, because
Mhm.
like you know, at this
Bitch.
age, it's just like there's no point of being mad anymore. Just like talk about it if that person's worth talking about it with. If not, then it's just, you know, there's a bunch of people that you end up cutting out of your life.
I've had disagreements with Floor, like one of my best friends.
Cecil?
and- Huh?
Floor? Beisel?
Yeah, I make fun of her for that. But yeah, like we've had disagreements, and like like after you travel, you kind of just want to take a break. If it's like a week or so, just like okay, I need to not see your face for like a week, just to wash my clothes and stuff like that. But and there's been a few disagreements where we're like, is that it? But it's like no, let's we'll talk about it. And we've even though it's like an awkward type of conversation,
Always.
we will both make it an effort to like talk about it, and we feel so grown afterwards. Like look at us.
I know,
That's
right?
like one thing that I love, like, cause like, yeah, he's like my partner, but he's also my best friend. Like, anytime we had to talk about hard stuff, like the real hard stuff that you never want to talk about it, I love that we do talk about it because we come out of it so much stronger, and like, you just appreciate each other more, you know, like after talking about that. And like, then we kind of like joke about it, like, damn, that was really hard to talk about, but I'm so glad we did, you know? You know, but
But
This
this
is
is
just how we grow. It's
No,
like,
go ahead.
Oh, no, listen to
Because
Yeah.
like with us, it's, we both have really strong personalities, but I mean, but with each other, we're like little bitches. But I mean, come on.
Cancer too.
No, she's not. But that's all she
Oh
attracts.
God, we're going
Cancer?
to signs
Wait,
again.
what?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh,
knew it.
my best
Yeah.
friend's a Cancer.
Yeah.
See, I'm the same way too. Where like I'm like I have that attitude where like I don't care. Like I just kind of go with life, But then like when it comes to Jazzy, like she's always my priority.
Yeah.
You know,
Get it.
like and I always like take into account she's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then like where we were living with my parents, she always told me like, oh, she hated living there because my mom, honestly, like
Moms are not
yeah,
easy.
yeah. And then so like
The
Like-
trauma.
like I were here every day, and then like
My mom's not easy.
like her
Oh.
dad.
Sorry, Mom.
Her dad
Yeah.
would tell us too, like, oh, like stay there, it's convenient, like you're not paying rent, so like that. But then I would see her every day, like just struggling, like having like breakdown after breakdown, or just like little things like building up.
That would affect
And
you
then
too.
and then
Sarah's mom's nice.
the job that I was at too, like I wasn't making enough, for us to move out, and then I started like looking, like like. And we like when she started saying that, I started like really like looking, like trying to get us out of there basically. And then I was also trying to go to school too, like I'm trying to do my LSAT and like try to go to school and everything too. But then like where I was at, my job. They weren't paying me enough. So like once I got that experience, I started looking like branching out, and then I was kind of second guessing myself too, like where I was at too. But I knew that I had to kind of like push myself in a way. But she also pushes me. That's the thing though too. Like when I start second guessing myself, like if I'm not good enough or something, she's like, just do it. Like you have nothing to lose. Like just go for it, you know. And then so like this job that I'm at now, like I wasn't even gonna do the interview, like cause I was set up for the interview and I was like, oh, like maybe like I shouldn't even do it, you know. And then she pushed me to like, oh, just do it. Like you'll never know what happens. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I freaking like nailed it. Like the interview, like the whole interview was just
after he was
Welcome to the county,
yeah.
buddy.
It was like just literally me just talking the whole interview, and then like they literally had like no follow up questions like every single time, or like if they did ask like one little question, like I'll go on like a rant, like I'll go in, and then I'll be like, oh, that's a good answer, you know, like that's good and stuff like that. And then
You're like, what did I say?
yeah, and then literally like once I got out, like I was like, damn, that went really good, you know. Like I was like
Really?
happy, and then once I did go to like to finally like meet up with them to offer me the job, like the final offer.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm taking you out of here. Like, you
Nice.
know,
Oh shit!
we finally did, and
If you to model any relationship, this is the one to do it. They've been together longer than we have, man. Shit.
Okay, Shiger.
I always tell everyone it's not easy.
Yeah,
like
it's
I know
not.
like you guys just see what you see right now. I was like, but there's years of shit, okay?
Yeah.
And every relationship has their shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you gotta realize like, is it worth holding on to? Like what's the end goal? Like what do you want? Like is it serving you in any way? Like but there's always gonna be the shit.
at the end of the day, Johnny's the one I want to be with.
Aww.
You know.
And it's funny because I liked him first. He didn't even like me first.
She fought for
He said,
me,
you
surrounded
alright.
I think we did you. Did we do you? Friends you've broken up with?
Yeah, he
He
did.
said,
Well, I got
well, we were
into why, like, yeah, kind of segued.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to hear
I mean, we could
the
hear.
reasons why?
Oh, you didn't say the
The
reason.
steps of why? So it's the same friend.
Everything.
So he was born in.
Huh? No, okay, so I'll tell you, basically, I'll keep it short, but I'll tell you from beginning to end. So when I met him, okay, so it was like a whole big thing. So I moved to Yuba City. I was forced up there, and I was still hanging out down here. Like I drive down here. I had a car, so I would drive down here every weekend. And I was hanging out with the only gay dude from my high school. Him and his friend.
Yuba City.
And it was two people from high school, the only people that were gay that I knew of. And we were gonna go to Pride, right? And I was like, "What's Pride?" "Oh, just come." And I'm like, I don't know. And I was like barely kind of like figuring out that I was into guys and all this stuff. And they're like, "Oh, or no, like I feel like I have just accepted that within myself. I just haven't come out at that time."
You're just starting.
Well, yeah. And so I was like 18, and they're like, "Just come," and I'm like, "Okay." And like we met. It was this guy named David was my friend, and then he had a friend named Malik. And Malik had all these gay friends. One was the friend that I'm talking about, and one was Kathy. And like it was crazy because it was like we all went to Pride, and it was like something I had never experienced in my life. I thought, I went to high school where there was just like one or two gay dudes, and there was like 4,000 students. So it's like, I felt like, oh, I don't want to be like singled out like them. Like I don't, and I told myself if I come out, it'll be after high school because I don't want to be singled out like that. And so I went to Pride, and it was just like a whole nother world. So like, first it started off, we were drinking and, just walking around, and then the crowd starts to build. And what they did was they block off the street, and they had what's called a pink party. So in Castro, they blocked out all the streets, and it was just all these gay people from like different cities, different states. Everybody there's gay, lesbian, or like a close friend of someone who was there. It wasn't really, it was, when I was 18 and I went, it was mostly gay and lesbian. So it was just like,
goes.
yeah, not everybody goes, it's not the same at all.
Yeah.
And so when I went, it was like like nothing I had ever experienced. Like, oh my God, like I could be like, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey, what's up with you? And they're like, you know, it was like, this is how straight people feel every day. This is amazing. Like, you can actually holler at somebody and be like, you know, like them not talk shit to you because like, oh, you know, like
you are.
your fear, like everything just, it was just awesome. And I was with this group of people that like, I mean, I kind of knew Malik and David, but everyone else, it was just like, wow, like, so anyways, this friend, like, okay, this is going to sound very bad. It's like the second or third person I had ever kissed. And like, we made out, I was all sprung, and then, you know, I go back to Yuba City, and I'm going back, like, doing my work, and, like, doing work, like, working at my job, I mean. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm going to just come out. Like, it was, like, the turning point for me. I was like, I'm not the only one. Like, it's hella, like, whatever. Anyways, I came out, and then, like, we exchanged numbers, and, like, I don't know, just hanging out with him, he was just hella cool. And so, like, that never, I mean, it happened again and again here and there, but that's not what our friendship was. It was just, like, we were friends. It was cool. Like, he was just so cool. Like, he had, like we were into the same stuff, and he had, like, a good job and his own place, and he was only 3 years older than me. He was 21. With a good job, a nice car, you know, his own place and all this stuff, and we just like hella hit it off, and we would just, so he was like, we had the same interest, but he had money, so we were like always going out, always having fun, always like, just like we laughed at the same shit, and it was just hella cool. And then he had a boyfriend, he was talking to someone, he got with him, and me and his boyfriend got real cool, and then he went to Mexico or something, and we were all hanging out at his place while he was in Mexico, and I don't know, like, we took a picture together, and I posted it on, like, so they had MySpace, and they had the gay version, which was called Downlink, and I posted it on there, he saw it, and he was just like, oh, I don't appreciate you being at my house, and I'm not there, and this and this and that, and I was like, oh, like, well, it wasn't like that, and, you know, who, fuck, I said his name, that's the other one's name, he was like, oh, you know, he invited me over, and they were living together. Out because when his parents found out he was gay, they threw him out, whatever. Yeah, so he was living there, but like was out of town, so. Anyways, whatever.
Everyone knows.
Cat's out of the bag. Anyways, can you just bleep that?
Yeah,
You're the best, Alex. Thank you. So, anyways, I lost my train of thought. No, so anyways, so then we stopped talking, and then I think it was like a year later. They moved, and his boyfriend had a birthday party and invited me, and so I went. And it was the first time I saw him after how long, and I was just like, hey, you know, like it just kind of like, he's like, you know what, we don't even have to talk about, let the past be the past. Like, okay, cool. So we were kicking it again, like nothing ever happened, and we were kicking it for a while, and then him and George broke up, and they, you know, he was talking to this guy, talking to that guy. It's him being single and me being single. It was just like awesome. Like we were just always like, anywhere we could go, and we're like into the same things. We're both like, you know, whatever. And so then like I got into like smoking weed, and I was.
Oh no!
It was a big. For me, looking back, I feel like it was an experience and it was growing, but it started to really consume me. That's all I wanted to do. It's like I wake up, I smoke. You know, like before I go to sleep, I gotta smoke. All day long, I want to smoke. It's like all I'm spending my money on, and I just felt like looking back, I was a loser. But it's like he loved smoking too, so he'd come over and spend the weekend at my house, and you know we do that like back and forth.
Related.
Yeah, like, and you know we had all these friends that we would smoke with. Well, he lived in San Jose, I lived in Hayward, and we had like I had friends in San Jose other than him. He had friends in Hayward other than me. Well, because we're all in the gay scene, and the gay scene's really small. He had a friend that lived right up the hill from me, so I smoked with him, and I told him, because if it was the other way around, I would want him to tell me, just kind of like, just to put it out there, you know, there's nothing to hide. And then I ended up like running into someone that he used to mess with, that we all met at the same time, but
circle small.
But they used to mess around. I smoked with him, and I would never mess with someone that he messed with, because I never want
to be Eskimo brothers.
No, it's not that. Well, kind of in a way, but I just never want, because everywhere we went, he got all the attention because he was like lighter skin, he was thinner, and he had more like fashion sense. And so like I know like on the visual appeal it was him, but on the personality appeal it was me. And what I noticed would happen is we'd go places and we'd meet people, they'd always go for him, and then when they realize, oh, he doesn't really have a lot of personality, and then like I'd be around, they'd be like, oh, well, what's up with you? It's like, oh, no. You don't get to go and pick mystery door number 1 and then try to come back and go this mystery door number 2.
Ooh, that's happened to me.
I don't like that. Like I won't entertain it at all. And so anyways, because he had these 2 friends that lived in my city, like I smoked with them each one time, but I told him about it and he just stopped talking to me. So I was like, what the hell? He's like, oh, you're kicking it with all my frenemies. That was it. Right. So we didn't talk for a while. It was like, interesting. Okay. Then, you know, I guess he like let it go, and I was like, well, we got to talk about it, like, because this is the second time he cut me off without saying, you did this, it bothered me, whatever. And then we started talking again, and he's like, no, we could just let the past be the past. And I was like, okay. But if it bothers you that much, what about it bothered you? You're not letting me explain myself. You're not telling me exactly what frustrated you, like
what you did wrong.
Yeah, it's like I wasn't sleeping with them, so I don't know why you think
in
so.
his head or something.
Yeah, and so
You share saliva.
no, and so
God.
No, I'm talking about smoking.
I know.
and so that's gross. And so you know, we started hanging out, and then like okay, this third time, oh my god, like we went to time of my life. We went to New York for my 27th birthday. We went to New York for his 30th birthday. It was the same year. Like, we went to Vegas all the time. We used to do all kinds of things and just meet all kinds of people. And again, it was me pulling the people in because I have no problem starting a conversation.
Yeah, you do.
Right. He's hella shy, and I have that personality where I'm like, hey, where are you visiting from? Oh, you know, we're here from New York, or we're here from here. Da, da, da. It's like, oh, whatever. Like, where are you guys from? Oh, we're from the Bay, and da, 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 da. And it's like, it gets the ball rolling, and then we're just like kicking it with random people, and it was cool. It was like exciting. So it's like we both brought something to the table. But then that's when my mom got sick, and I posted something because I'm not gonna name names for sure, but someone in my family told me something that really
Hurt you.
It hurt. Looking back, it hurt, but it really put me in a frustrated mode. And I said, I was like in my feelings, and I did something immature, and I posted something about, it was like, oh, the blood red moon is an omen for change. And I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to see the changes. Well, he took it as him. And why he took it as him is because, see, at the time, I already understood, like, I had a job where I had to commute to Palo Alto. And for some reason, it was like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours there and back because there's hella traffic going there. That's the Silicon Valley. Everyone's trying to go there. So I understand, like, doing that, like, you kind of get tired of commuting. You just want to be home. You just want to relax. So we kind of had distance, but then, like, once I got used to it, we got tight again. And then he started commuting to San Francisco. So I understood that there's going to be a time period where he has to adjust to his commute because it takes, like, an extra hour. Extra hour or 2 hours. You're tired from working. Now you got to sit on a train, whatever. So I understood that. But while that was happening, this thing happened with this person in my family, and I posted it. So he took it as himself. And at the time, I had him on my phone plan also. So what he did is he sent his own subliminal. He took a picture of a brand new iPhone through T-Mobile. Well, I had Verizon. He had Verizon because he had through me. He's like, oh, fuck it. I deserve it. New beginnings, whatever. And then I noticed he stopped. Well, sometimes, like, what he would do is he'd buy new tech devices, play with them, and then return them. So I didn't know if he was just trying to see what the new one was about, or I didn't want to jump to conclusions. But then I looked on the phone bill, and as of that date, he stopped using it altogether. No text, no internet, no phone, nothing. He just cut it off. And so...
Things were clear.
Right. And that boyfriend that I had been friends with, he did that to him when they broke up. So I was like, oh, I'm seeing a trend, right? And he was like, so I was like, okay, something's up, but I'm going to wait. Nothing. I didn't hear nothing from him. And then I hit him up. He wouldn't respond. And then I emailed him, and I was like, hey, so, because I still had his email. So I was like, hey, I don't know, like, if you're buying your phone to just play with it, or if you're like planning on ending the service that you have with me, but can you let me know because I need to cancel it because I'm not paying for it if you're not using it. He didn't respond. So he went and called Verizon, tried to have them cut it off, but they needed me to approve the access. I said no. Like, be a grown up. You don't want the phone, just tell me you don't want it, I'll cut it off. Like, don't go behind my back and try to do it yourself. Because then there's a $600 termination fee, and then you got the balance of the phone's due and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you got.
And so I was like, no. And so he emailed me back. I tried to cut it off. You didn't grant me access. That's that. And I was like, oh no. He don't know me very well.
You don't cut me off.
So,
I cut you off.
So what I did was I know what time he gets home from work. So I parked my car around the corner from his house, and I waited. I saw him drive by. I walked to his house. I knocked on his door, and I said, hey, I just wanted to see when you were going to be able to pay me for the phone so I can cut it off. And he was really like, I could tell he was scared. But he was like, I'll pay it, I get paid at the end of the week, whatever. And then I was like, okay, cool. And then I turned around and walked away. And he's like, you don't have to hound me. And I was like, what? He's like, you don't have to hound me. I go, obviously I do, because you're not responding to me like a grown-up. So that's why I came. I was like, just pay your part and we're good. That's it. And then that was that. So he paid that part, whatever. And then a couple months went by, and then I want to say maybe a month before my mom died, he he reached out, or I reached out, one of us, and we were okay. And then this time, because he had cut me off, I was going through it. Oh my God, I was devastated because I didn't have this outlet. I didn't have that friend that I could just travel. Oh, we could just take a weekend trip to LA. We could go to Vegas. We can go here. We can go there. Or we could just go out and just have a good time. I didn't have any outlet. All my friends are they serve different purposes in my life, and that was my party all around friend. And so I was just like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And I was going through it. I had a really, really hard time, and so I was like, okay, I think that's what I ended up reaching out and stuff. And then when my mom passed away, he came to the funeral, but he brought a friend, and the friend he was hanging out with this big old cokehead, and I didn't care for him at all. And so I hung out with him right after that. He invited me out. We hung out, and I was just like,
you weren't about
this is not my crowd. It's done. We're done. I was like, okay. And then one day after that, I was feeling I remember when we used to just pop up on each other, and I texted him, what are you doing? And he was like, didn't respond. Then the next day, at that time, he was like, I was taking a nap. You were taking a nap. You woke up, and you didn't see my text? But okay. I just saw it, I just didn't respond. And then I was just like, okay. So that was back in 2017, and we didn't talk. And then recently, I had deleted his number and everything, and one of our friends was talking about him, and I go, what's his number? And I was like, I put it in my phone. I was like, I knew the beginning of it, but I didn't know the end. I go, what's the number? And I put it in my phone. I was thinking about it. I go, do I reach out or not? And then I was like, no, I'm not going to message him. But he popped up on my Instagram.
Because he saved the phone.
And so I just added him, and he added me. And he's like, how have you been? And da-da-da. All it took was for me to reach out. But that's how it was the last few times.
But you're the one reaching.
Always. And so now I know, where I stand with him. We'll never have that. Ever have what we had before. But
it's never the same.
After the third time of him cutting me off, I was like, we're going to end this friendship the way I want to end it. And that's on a positive note. So we're just not and then I got one more, sorry. I had a friend of mine. I'll keep it short. Long story short, we were friends. We met when I was 20, and I think we stopped talking 2 years ago because our political views were completely different, which I liked. I love having opposing views because you challenge me to think, and I challenge you to think. But the thing is if you're, some people are really set, oh no, this is it, this is how it is, whatever. And I think that's fine that you believe that, but if you don't even take the time to think, were you making a point, or were you just talking out of your ass? You're really set in that, you don't, if you're and I asked him straight up, I was like, when we have these conversations, do you ever think about what I say? And he's like, no.
Oh,
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. And when I said that, no, you guys never met him.
Okay.
And so when he said that, that to me is like, you don't value my opinion at all or respect me as a friend or a person. You just think I'm stupid and my opinion doesn't matter. And so when I said to him, I was like, I think about what you say. I take it into consideration and I really think about, you had valid points with these things. I agree or disagree. That's all there is to it. Like, I don't go home and dwell on, it's not about that. It's about, oh, you're my friend and your outlook on life is this way. There's a reason you think what you think. Now, do I value it enough to take it into consideration and think about why your points are valid and why it's important to see it from your perspective? Absolutely. But am I going to change my mind? That's a whole different thing, right? And so him just saying flat out, no, I don't think about what you say, is basically like, I'm having a conversation with you and you're talking at me. And so I was like, well, that sucks, and he's like, why? And I was like, because I can't be friends with someone who doesn't value my opinion. Whether you agree with me or not is a completely different story. But if you can't take in what I say, even a little, and just even if you're like, he said this, he's fucking stupid, why? Whatever. Or like, he has no idea what he's talking about. Or, no, because X, Y, and Z. No, he's wrong, and that's that. That to me... That's not a friend. That's not someone that should be in your life. It's like, and I mean, I'm very strongly opinionated and I have to check myself sometimes. Like, I have to be like, all right, no, like, scale it back or whatever, but,
We all have those moments.
But yeah, that's that.
A whole other topic in itself.
Next, sorry.
Next breakups. Okay. I mean, I think we'll conclude it there, but this is a 3-hour podcast.
You guys have to make a part 1 and part 2.
Oh my god.
There's gonna be a part.
Right, 3-part.
I think a 3-parter because
As a verse?
no, but I would say this is the I mean, I had to put it that way.
I think we poured our hearts into it.
The fact, exactly. The fact that our hearts were poured out to it, that it became, for me, like one of the most entertaining, longest podcasts. Like, we've had long podcasts before where guys are just ranting, drunk, whatever like that. Like, we're drunk ranting, but like this was like an emotional rant where like we all poured in something, and whoever's listening to this, like, we take what we had, the experiences we went through, and
Thank you for opening up.
Yeah, thank you for opening. Everybody, fucking everybody. Oh my god.
Please bleep those
Yeah.
names.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
shit, I
bleep
even
the
cried.
names. Yeah.
You guys, I don't cry in front of people, so that's all.
Hands down for Jessica for picking the topic.
That's a good one.
Good job,
yeah,
Jessica.
You know, I was talking to Stephanie earlier. Like, we wanted to have you guys for sure on a podcast when we were talking about wedding stuff. And here we have a topic about breaking up, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe we're bringing them on here.
The next one.
Yeah, maybe the next one. Yeah, for sure the next one. But yeah, thank you guys. Frankie, you're freaking always a pleasure, man, dude.
Are you looking at my gut? Guys can get pregnant now too.
Oh, don't start with this. Don't
Here
start
we
with
go.
this. You should have seen him at Disneyland. He was like,
I buttoned my jacket right here, so it goes like this.
You're like, hey, Mickey.
me and my sister and my mom were so annoyed.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I can get pregnant.
Guys, I kept saying that. Guys can get pregnant too. My brother-in-law was like, no, because you're not transgender. I go, as a cis white male, you can't tell a gay black man that he can't get pregnant in this climate.
Oh my god.
I was pulling all the terms out of my
You broke
ass.
her bladder. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Good night. Good morning. Whenever in the car, out the car, wherever. Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry. Bye.